Welcome to Chapter 7 of the WhatsApp for High Level course with me, Chris Dillon, running through everything you need to know to get the most out of the WhatsApp section of the High Level system. Now, Chapter 7 is talking about videos and their importance. And I personally feel that using video messaging through this to be able to speak to your customers directly is one of the most powerful features of WhatsApp in the system in its entirety. And I'm going to give a really weird example here of what my favorite sentence is to demonstrate this specifically. And that sentence is, I didn't tell you to kill him. Yes, it's a weird sentence. However, that sentence has 7 different words in it and 6 different meanings based on the emphasis I put on each of those words. Because if I was to say the sentence, I didn't tell you to kill him, you understand that that means something different to, I didn't tell you to kill him. 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 And I didn't tell you to kill him all mean something completely different. Now, why do I mention this and why is it my favorite sentence? Well, if I write that sentence in a text-based message, either a text-based SMS, an email, or even the text within a WhatsApp message, I have a 1 in 6 chance of you reading that sentence the way that I wrote it. And likely, the way that you're going to read it is going to be heavily influenced by the mood that you're in when you receive it. So me as a business sending you that message, I'm at the mercy of you misreading a sentence because you haven't had your coffee that morning. Now, the sentence I use is a bit of an exaggerated version of it, but I guarantee you, and I hate to give you the bad news here, I guarantee you in your marketing, in your communication, in your text-based messaging, there will be things that you have written that will be read differently by your prospects, by your customers, by your leads, by anybody that is reading it. And you'll never know. Because every time you go back and reread all of it, you'll read it the way that you wrote it. So you won't pick up on the fact that it could be misread. Sometimes you might, but there will be a lot that slip through. By using your voice and using your tonality, you can put video messaging into your sequence that A, builds trust, B, massively lowers the chance of that being misinterpreted, and C, gives you a connection to them. It gives them a reason to interact with you. And I'm going to throw in a 4th one. It captures their attention a hell of a lot more. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever received a message from a friend or a loved one and read it and gone, oh my God, what the hell have I done wrong? And then you ask the question to them and they say, oh, nothing. And you were just like, oh, I've just misread the message. Happens all the time. However, if that's a business sending that message, they won't tell you, they won't respond. They'll just go, oh, well, that's crappy of the business. And you'll never hear from them again and you'll never know why. Utilizing the ability to use video within WhatsApp and use your voice is incredibly powerful. Now, you can put videos into template messages, in session messages, which we've explained the difference earlier on in this course. So this is the free-form messaging and stuff like that. You can send a voice note as well. So if you didn't want to be on video, you can use your voice. But the importance is that you're using this and not just typing. It's a hell of a lot more personal. The other side of it is, if you've got a lot of information to give to somebody, sending them a message which is massive, near the 2,000 limit of characters that you've got in a WhatsApp message, they're not going to read it. If somebody you love sends you a paragraph message like that, your first response is, oh dear God, what's happened? Like in reality, that's not great. And when somebody is receiving your message as a business prospect, they don't care about you enough to go out of their way to read that message. It's the reason why every terms and conditions that you ever take, that you've never read the terms and conditions. Like, it's a long document and they rely on it being a long document. If it was 4 lines and you read it and went, oh, I don't like that, you wouldn't agree to it. If it's 17 pages, you're not reading that. You're ticking the box to say, yeah, I read this in its entirety. You don't. Putting all of that text into a WhatsApp or into an SMS or into an email, it's just not going to make sense. Now, there is a time and a place for having legitimate terms and conditions and for having contracted things. What we're talking about here is general communication with businesses. So I want to give you an example of the video type that I use when somebody makes an inquiry with my business. And for context, what we help people with is building out their customer journeys and making them interactive. The reason WhatsApp is what we specialize in is because it's the easiest way to make it engaging and interactive. So if you were to make an inquiry in with me, you would typically get a video immediately that says something like this. Hi, Chris here. Thank you so much for filling out the form a few moments ago. This is obviously an automated video being sent to you. And in this video, I'm going to explain everything that you need to know now and answer a few questions everybody always has at this stage. And if during this, our team are going to reach out to you within the next 24 hours, if during this you feel that you want to have a chat with us, you can skip the stage where our team try and call you at a time that might not suit you and press one of the buttons below, which will say book an appointment, and that can book in straight with our team. Now, one of the questions everybody always has at this stage is, Chris, I just want to know how much it costs. And in truth, we have different packages that range anything from up to £20,000 a year for people to come to us and we do absolutely everything for them, and packages down to £47 a month where we can provide online resources and show you. And for us to work out where you'd be in that range, we typically have a conversation to work out if you fit, and if you do, where that would be best for your business. And we also get people asking us at this stage, how does it work? How do you put in? Well, typically we come into a business, and if they're using a CRM already, or if they don't have one, we provide high level to them. We provide all of the systems, we do the trainings, we show you how to go about doing it, and we give you expert advice on what to put in that sequence. It's going to be different for every business. So again, best to have a chat. Now, if at any stage you just want to have a conversation with us, there's a button below that says, I have a question. You can ask our team absolutely anything. And there is a little button there that says automation demo, which will go through a bit of a demo of what you can sort of feel. And at the end of it, it will give you the option to either book a call with us, ask us a question, or frankly say, Chris, thanks for the demo. It's just not for us. We're not interested. If you have any questions at all, message us in this chat. We'll be more than happy to come back to you. Now, that video will typically be about 2.5 minutes long. In that, I have set expectations on what happens next. I've built trust because you're seeing me. You're seeing an actual human being speaking to you, and you can hear my tonality, and you can hear it's not a pushy sales process. But I've told you, our team are going to be reaching out, and if you want to avoid the time where we call you, which doesn't suit, book a time yourself. I've told you how to take the next steps in our process. I've told you the price without detailing exactly what the price is. For your products, you might have a set price, so it's a very easy thing to include in the conversation. You might have a range, and there's nothing worse than saying it depends, because people don't get an answer and they get annoyed at that stage. I've done a hell of a lot in that video that I couldn't have done in text. I could have an exact transcription of everything I just said, put it in an email, nobody's reading it. And when I actually go and speak to them and I say, oh, did you see the bit where we talked about how it works and how we come in? No, I never read that. That then makes you look poor. But having a video that they're going to watch is important. And the final bit of this chapter to advise you about the videos is that most people making an inquiry in with your business will have only seen your business for a very limited amount of time. And very often us as business owners get slightly skewed with how we go and put this into practice, because we live and breathe our businesses. We live and breathe the marketing campaigns that got somebody to make an inquiry in the first place. So for us, there's been a lot of work to get somebody to fill out that form. But for them, it might only be 30 seconds. Now, if you're running paid Facebook ads, paid TikTok ads, LinkedIn ads, lead forms that can directly go and trigger workflows in the high-level system, or sending them through to a website and they fill out a form on the website, again, that connects them straight into the system. However they come in, I want to capture their attention there, because at that stage, their interest is the highest in my business that it's ever been. Otherwise, they would have inquired before. So I want to send a video that captures their attention for longer, because if I can take somebody from 30 seconds of their attention and send them an email that they inevitably probably wouldn't read, to 2.5 extra minutes of me talking, trusting, explaining the process, seeing the standard of customer service, seeing the process, knowing exactly what to do, knowing that they have an option to say, I'm not interested if I go through it, knowing that they can ask us all of the questions that they want. It's a live chat. Our team are all available. That's massive at that early stage. Videos for me are incredibly powerful. And I'm going to share one last video that I send that I feel is probably one of the more effective ones that has made us more in our return in investment, shall we say. And that is a video that we send out to people 24 hours before they have calls with us. So yes, this is part of the sales process, and that might not be applicable for your business. But if part of your business involves discovery calls or having a call with a prospect, sending a video 24 hours before, and I'll show you in the workflows in a screen share in a moment, in one of the other chapters, being able to send a video 24 hours before that says, "Hi, Chris here. Tomorrow you have a call booked in with us." Now, if your plans have changed, you can't make that call, there's a button below to press to reschedule, and you can book in a time in the future, or press reschedule and our team will be able to reach out if you can't see a time that's available there. But assuming you can still make the call, this video is going to explain everything that happens during that sales call so that you're going into it eyes wide open, you know exactly the process. Now, as we've mentioned, people will typically invest anything up to £20,000 a year to work directly with us, down to £47 a month, and we'll find out if any of that fits, what it will be for you. So we're going to ask you loads of questions about your business. When we've asked enough questions and we feel like we can genuinely help, and by the way, if we can't help, we'll tell you before you even realize from us. Once we realize that we can help and we've sort of determined that we may be able to be a good fit, we're going to invite you to ask loads of questions of us as a business. And if at the end of that, we both feel like it might be a good fit, we'll give you two options. We can either give you an absolutely storming offer on the call and get you signed up then and there. But if you need a little bit more time to take it away, that's absolutely no problem at all. Second option is that we raise a formal proposal for you and we get a time booked in the diary around about a week later to have a follow-up call to say yes or no on there. It's completely down to you how you go through that process. Now, one bit of a favor I've got is I've put a button below that says pre-call questions. And if you press that, it's going to ask you loads of different questions about your business that we will typically ask on every call. So we can be really respectful of the time that you've booked out with us and make sure that we're answering the real questions, not just the technical questions that we always need to know the answers to. Anything else that you need between now and tomorrow, send us a message in this chat and we'll respond. That one video sets the expectation for a sales call better than any email, better than any text-based, arguably better than a phone call would, because most phone calls aren't going to be picked up. And it is so powerful. We get around about 60% of every single one of our sales calls answering 9 questions about their business before they come into a sales call. And our show up rate last year was 98.53%. We just don't get no-shows in the business. It doesn't happen. Now, we get people rescheduling beforehand, and that's great because they still want the meeting, and it's easier to reschedule before the meeting happens than getting it rebooked in afterwards. But it's really important to remember that that's only feasible because I'm sending a video beforehand. Videos can be so powerful in this process, combined with the interaction. And you would have heard there where I'm directing people to press buttons, I'm encouraging engagement, I'm setting expectations. All of those things happen with my real voice a hell of a lot better than any email campaign can do. And remember, all the way back to the start of the course, 80% of every single message that is sent on WhatsApp is opened within 10 minutes of it being delivered on the device. These videos get watched, and it can be a really powerful tool when done correctly.